What's good, everybody? It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. NBA picks and props right here on the Props Network. I am your intrepid host this evening, Gerard Hector, and I'm not with our usual guys. Why? Let me tell you, man. Dex is on that playoff DMP. He might be on that Chris Paul thing. No, he doesn't have COVID, but he's sitting out. Brian Fonseca is a DMP CD, but my guy from the undefeated, from the Bros Pod, is here. Jamal Murphy. What's up, my guy?
What up? What up, man? You know, lots to talk about. NBA playoffs. Only the true fans are watching. That's what I hear. You know what I'm
saying? It's true. Look, the NBA is at an interesting point right now, right, Murph? Because, and again, it's not about people like us who cover the league and who are diehards. We gonna watch this and do this, whatever. It's the casuals, right? Yo, how do you think the casuals are feeling about Atlanta, Milwaukee, Phoenix, and the Clippers?
I know, but I did see a stat the other day that said ratings are like as high as they've been in a long, long time. So who knows? Maybe the young guns, got something to offer. You still got Booker out here. You still have Trae Young becoming a big star. So it's the younger generation is taking over.
Yeah, man, it's time. And we were talking to producer Greg before the start of the show, and I said, look, LeBron's not going to be in this league forever. So at some point, you got to prepare for life without that dude. All right. And let's start pushing the young guys. And look, I'm telling you, the NBA is going to have a gold mine. If Atlanta makes the finals, y'all got a ready-made star, man. I'm telling you. And he's the perfect person because he will happily play the foil or the villain for whatever hero you want to set up. Like it's just perfectly lined up. So hopefully the NBA can figure out what they're doing and make this happen. Let's get into the game tonight, Murph. So Phoenix Suns are going to be traveling to LA to play the Clippers for Game 3. The line is at -1, favoring the Suns right now. Look, Chris Paul is back, man. He is out of health and safety protocols. He's going to be ready for Game 3. Listen, we know he was vaccinated. We know that he was asymptomatic, right? So it looked like he was just chilling, getting 2 weeks of rest. That is so important, I think, for these Phoenix Suns because you got a healthy Chris Paul to a squad that is already playing this well without him. How is the point guard? I mean, how's that going to affect this team and this game tonight?
I mean, common sense would say they're going to be much better with Chris Paul, that the Clippers have hung tight with Phoenix without Chris Paul. So when he comes back, Phoenix should win, somewhat easily. But, I mean, these playoffs have been too crazy for me to actually believe that. I'm not going to give up on the Clippers yet. We all know they've been down 2-0 in every series. I know people keep saying that. It is true. They've been able to bounce back in all these series so far. I mean, think about what Cam Payne gave Phoenix, 29 points, in Game 2. I mean, is Chris Paul going to give them much more than that? You know what I'm saying? So I could see Phoenix, being pretty much the same team, a little better, but now they're on the road against the Clippers. So I give the Clippers a shot. If I have to bet on them +1.5, I'll take it. I might as well take the money line if I'm going to do that. I'll take it. But don't get me wrong. I would not be surprised if Phoenix goes up 3-0. But I'm just not going to throw dirt on the Clippers just yet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think, look, yes, the Clippers are without Kawhi Leonard. But, these games have been close, right? And Game 2, I mean, it took a miraculous inbound pass by Jay Crowder, which probably that pass doesn't get enough credit. You know how difficult that pass was? I mean, it almost hit the side of the backboard, and that would have been a turnover. And then DeAndre Ayton, of course, with the oop slam there at the end. Yeah, you're right, Murph. Like, this could go anywhere. I think what will help the Clippers is if the game is close down the stretch and you're on the road, Chris is that calming presence, right? It's like, okay, guys, let's get into our set. This is what we're going to run right here. Make or miss the shot, doesn't matter, but he'll get us into good offense. So no one's, feeling any kind of nerves or feeling any kind of way. But look, Paul George could have a big game. We know role players step up at home. And the Clippers, as I've said in the past, they found something last year losing that 3-1 lead. It galvanized them. Going down 0-2 against the Mavericks in round 1. Going down 0-2 in the last round against Utah. And they've battled back. So they believe in themselves. And Ty Lue has been the best coach in this postseason in terms of making adjustments. Now, of course, not having that big chess piece in Kawhi, that hurts, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I think that he's going to find a way to do some different things. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers take this tonight. I'm going to go with the Clippers money line here as well. But at -1, it's basically telling me it's a pick 'em. So if the Suns win and they go up 3-0, it's a wrap. I know that. Get ready for the NBA Finals, Phoenix, because you guys have been playing well. I do. There've been some interesting prop bets too. I wonder if you want to look at anything. I would look at Chris Paul points and assists. I would look at Devin Booker prop tonight. I think Pat Bev coming out doing his thing and headbutting them last game, getting them all fired up. And come on, Ty Lue started Pat Bev for a reason. Look, the NBA is a game of skill, and look, while Pat Bev is an NBA player, and I never say any NBA player doesn't have any skill, he ain't the high end on the skill level, right? He's there for
a couple threes. He was hitting a couple threes. He may have taken too many. Don't get me wrong. He got a little happy. He took a couple contested threes he shouldn't have taken, but he did show up to play. And you're right, Booker probably had his worst game in a long time. He had an off game for sure. So I'm sure he's looking to get back. And that's another negative for the Clippers not taking care of business when they were able to keep Booker to an off game. Mm-hmm. That doesn't really look good for them. It's not likely he has two back-to-back bad games, so that's another tough situation for the Clippers.
And he's back in LA, which means he's seeing his honey, Kendall Jenner. So, when
that goes both ways. That goes both ways. So I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe, you know what they say about boxers, right?
Yeah, you lose them legs. What do you think about the over/under, man? 218.5. It's been interesting in this series, right? We've seen some scoring. I think 218 is reasonable. Like I could see the over tonight. What about you?
Yeah, it's reasonable, but it's been inconsistent in terms of the over/under in this series. Remember game 2, 104, 103. That's 207. So you had the under. The 2 games before that were over. So it kind of depends. What type of game we have here. We know the Clippers are desperate.
They are.
So you're going to probably get the same kind of defensive effort that they gave in game 2. And then Phoenix plays defense. So I would probably lean towards the under here because I think because of the Clippers' desperation, they're gonna try to lock up, and Phoenix, that's what they do is lock up. So I could see this being a close, low-scoring game again.
Yeah, you're right about the Clippers coming out on D, and I think that's where Ty's going to kind of make that his first point of emphasis to them, right? It's like, look, we'll mix and match, we'll do different things, but defensively, and that's why he started Beverly last game, right? He's like, you got to get into these guys, and I want them to feel us, and I think that's what they're going to want tonight, really to make sure Phoenix feels them, and that's why I think, again, having Chris Paul back is such a nice pressure release valve for them, right? Because it's just like, all right, the steady hand of the point guard comes back, and it's like, it's not even so much about if he does, 20, 15. Yes, that's important, but he's just such a calming influence, right? Because they're like, all right, Chris is here. Like he's not gonna get us. He's not gonna get rattled and freak out. Cool, let's run this. And Chris has got all his antics too. So he might get Pat Bev to commit some fouls and get him tossed in the game. Chris is good at that.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's gonna be tough for the Clippers if they can pull this game 3 off. That will say a lot. Chris Paul, he adds just leadership. That type of thing, being able to get the guys in sets, being able to respond to runs. You talk about on the road. he played in that building for how long?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to have any effect on him, no matter what kind of crowd you have. So yeah, it's going to be a tough task for the Clippers. But we've been saying this throughout, and the Clippers have a lot of talent. We know that, and now they're actually playing with some grit. So I just give them a shot. If there's any game they're going to win, it has to be this one. So that's why I lean towards the Clippers here.
And I think we're thinking about more Terrence Mann minutes. I think, look, Mann is excellent for them because he can play defense and he can score, man. Like he can shoot the ball, like he can attack off the bounce a bit. In the playoffs, you want to have as many guys who are versatile on the floor as possible, right? We want guys with as little weaknesses because we know you got any weakness, the opponent's going to attack it over and over and over until you make a move. And so I think more Terrence Mann minutes, I think, is something that T. Lue is definitely going to think about tonight.
Yeah, he has to. And T-Man, he's one of those guys, he gives you energy. He's fearless. He's hard-nosed. And, they really plugged him in the lineup in that Dallas series when they got behind, and they found out they really had something, and he's produced all the way through since then. So yeah, he's going to get a lot of minutes. And if he gets hot like he did, I think Game 6 against Utah, all
wrap.
bets are off. So you just never know. You never know.
He puts up a 39 piece again. It's like, hey man, y'all may have nothing for him.
That's a W right there. If he puts up 39 again, you can count it.
Let's move over to the East, man. The Hawks. Look, I cannot say enough about Trae Young. You are the Trae Young supporter. You were high on this kid back in college. You know, we said it before. I was like, listen, man, this guy's got bust potential. I don't know. Like, and again, what I've told you this before, it's not just the scoring matters. Like, he reads the game so well. Like, for a third-year player, like he reads. I mean, he's not quite at Chris Paul level, but he's pretty damn close in terms of reading the game, and that's excellent for a third-year player, Murph. Like, and he is not afraid of anything. Like, literally nothing. Giannis, I don't care. Bucks, what? It doesn't matter. This dude just comes out and he's like, "Yo, I'm here." So, should the betting public be looking at the Hawks as a team to really get themselves in on?
Well, it might be too late, right? I mean, if you were gonna get in on the Hawks, you would have had to, taken that wild card much earlier in the game, because now the odds are not as good, and
they are plus 700 to win the title, so you can do a future bet on them.
Yeah, I mean, even that, like, it was probably plus 1,400 a couple days ago. You know what I'm saying? So now you're getting the worst. You as a bettor are getting the worst odds that you have all season. I would wait until maybe if they're down 2-1, and maybe it comes back down. They lose 2 in a row to Milwaukee. People start sleeping on Trae again, and then they still have a chance, right? Even at that point. So I would wait to jump on that futures bet. But you're right about Trae Young. I mean, he has lethal combination of skills in terms of, like, he's a great shooter, great free throw shooter. He's has a great handle. He's a great passer. I mean, you talk about what he did in college. I mean, the kid was the only player ever to lead the NCAA in scoring and assists. And he damn near averaged 10 assists in college. In order to do that in college, I mean, you have to be a great passer. And he's shown to be that. And even last game, he scores 48, which puts him at the level of guys like LeBron and KD as the only other guys to score at that level in the playoffs at that age. So,
yeah, man.
Kid, man. I mean, I know it was a joke even for me. I've been high on Trae Young for a long time, but I was never willing to, like, really put him on that Luka level. But I mean, you have guys. They make their own history. It's not like we can put guys in a box and say he'll never be this. He could just show us, and he's showing us something that few people have ever done, and Luka hasn't done yet. So, I mean, to me, I'm starting to revisit it. Luka's a bigger guy, 6'8", that matters. So he's going to grab you those 10 boards. So he's going to look better. But I mean, Trae is setting the bar really high right now.
He has stepped out and is a bona fide superstar already, because to do what he's doing in the highest leverage games, that's the thing, right? Like, this ain't a Tuesday night against Orlando. No, this is the conference finals. And I know it's one game, I ain't losing my mind, but what he's done all playoffs up until this point, right? Hostile environments, the New York crowd, which was ruthless against him, Philly crowd, he went on the road in game 7 and closed out the 76ers. On the road, game 5, close out. Any NBA player who's done it will tell you what's the hardest thing to do. Close out game. What's even harder? Close out on the road. This dude, and they have no quit. And I was talking to producer Greg about this before the show started, Murph. I like numbers, and because they back up what I see with my eyes, and I try to be like, is this true what I'm seeing? Do the numbers support it, or am I seeing something else? But there's something about Trae's confidence and moxie that emboldens the other guys on the team. And I don't know what the measurement is for that. But when you got a guy who is fearless and he's doing his thing, how does it not make you also be confident? You're like, we ain't losing.
Of course.
And there's value to that. I don't know how much value, but there's value to that.
A lot. I mean, the game itself is like, 95% confidence once every, especially players relative to each other have the same talent, for the most part. Some guy jumped 2 inches higher than the next guy, whatever. But it's 95% confidence out there. When you got a guy who will lose Drew Holiday and then shimmy before the shot and make the shot, that of course that gives the other teammates confidence because they're like, "Oh, that dude is real." Like, yo, I'm a pro too. You know what I'm saying? I gotta show and prove too. So yeah, it's huge, man. I mean, you cannot discount what he's doing, and it's not even just what he's been able to do. It's how you want to talk about Game 7. He struggled for 3.5 quarters. He couldn't hit a shot for 3.5 quarters. Again, Ben Simmons. I know he's getting a lot of hate right now, but he was doing a great job defensively against Trey. Probably the best defender he's going to see.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to see anybody better than that right now, and guarding him for the Bucks or probably next round. Okay, so Simmons was doing a great job on him, as Simmons pointed out. he shut him down for at least shooting wise, he shut him down for 3.5 quarters, and the kid still has the moxie to just keep putting them up and then hit the big ones, hit the big shots. At the end of the game, 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left, 4 minutes down to a minute, making all the big shots, and he hits all his free throws, all his clutch free throws. I mean, hey man, you got to give it to him. Got to.
He is an artist out there. He understands the stage and the moment, and he's ready for this, man. Like, you can see it. Like, he knows he's built for these moments. Like, he's not phased. Like, turnover, we good, no problem. Like, I mean, it is what it is. I see a little question pop in the chat here. The Olympics will start soon in basketball. Who do we think are the 3 teams that will be the hardest to play against for the United States? Spain is always tough, right, because of the institutional knowledge they have. If Nikola Jokic is playing for Serbia, that's going to be a problematic team to play as well.
Right.
I'm trying to think, and I think Luka is playing for Slovenia. So look, we see what Luka did. What's funny? You mentioned about Luka, Murph. Ask an Atlanta Hawks fan if they got the better end of the Luka Trae Young trade, but they're gonna say yeah.
Now, yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue because of what you've just seen. I mean, they may be wrong. Luka may be a better player, but as of right now, it's hard to make that argument. I mean, he's a better right now. You want to say something about Luka? He's a better regular season player than Trae. That's all you can say right now. And that's with Luka doing his thing in the playoffs. He put up numbers, but just wasn't able to get him over the top. But like I said with Trae and the free throw shooting, that's one thing he's definitely better than Luka at, is free throw shooting, and that might be part of the reason that Luka couldn't close out some of those must games in the playoffs.
It's interesting. Really, Luka is just bigger. I mean, that's really what I mean. And don't get me wrong,
statistically, because I looked at it like a year or two ago. I looked at Luka and Trae's numbers, and statistically, they're right there, except for rebounding.
Right, and that's size. And don't get me wrong, size matters. The rim is still 10 feet above the ground, so being 6'8" and taller is always preferable. But they're pretty much even everywhere else. And I guess in theory, because he's 6'8", Luka could be a better defender, but he ain't right now. Right. So, I mean, this is interesting. I see that in the chat, the response, he says his opinion, Serbia, France, and Spain. I did forget about France and Rudy. Rudy, he got some flack for the way that played out in that Jazz series. And I will say this, playoffs are all about adjustments and doing what is smart. Look, the Jazz can't have the poor perimeter defenders that they had and be like, all right, Rudy, protect the rim when our guys get blown by. But then when they kick the ball back out, you got to race out and guard the 3-point line. Well, you can't do both.
Right.
It's one or the other, right? And so the Jazz got to do some better stuff there. And I think, we'll see what the France team does in the Olympics this year. I think Team USA is still, I mean, look, you got Kevin Durant on Team USA. I mean, let's look, right? You got Dame Lillard. I mean, you got Tatum. I mean, you got dudes. I mean, yes, I think given the names that were going to be on there with Curry and all these guys, and Harden pulled out, thankfully, because he's injured. They're probably not as deep as they wanted. They got Kevin Love and some other kind of suspect names on there, Draymond. But look, you still have Kevin Durant and some of the best offensive players in the world. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm like, why the hell is KD even playing Olympic basketball? Like, I mean, come on, dog. You already got 2 gold medals, dog. Like, what are you doing? This is stupid.
Yeah. Like, he's a baller. That's probably what he'll tell you. I'm a baller. I'm just doing what I love to do.
Yeah, I get it.
Competition and over the summer, and the U.S. team does get tested now.
They do.
So the international rules are crazy. Of course, the chemistry, there's not much chemistry on the team. Mm-hmm. So I could see they're going to have a close game or two, which means like under 10 or 5, and they could even take a loss at some point. But I think they'll come away with the gold, but I don't sleep on the rest of the world. Like you said, France, there's a lot of good French players out here. The NBA,
yes,
much less guys not quite able to make the NBA. They're still good players, and they have that chemistry. And you can say that about countries around the world.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll be seeing some challenges there. Guys, thank you as always for tuning in to the Props Network. If you guys want to use our betting lines, go to propsnetwork.com. You can find all the odds for everything here we got going on for the conference finals. You got future bets for the NBA finals, future finals MVP, all that stuff. Y'all know I took some future bets on the Euro Cup. Portugal is plus 1,200 to win. We already in the knockout round. Listen, we got everything, man. Make sure you guys tune in. All right, let's talk about some futures bets. I'm going to throw a little audible here.
Okay.
Look, man, I think you can already get some good numbers on Devin Booker, on Trae Young. I mean, right now, Trae Young plus 900 for NBA Finals MVP. What do you think, Murph? Take a swing at that?
Why not, man? Why not? Because plus 900, that's a great number. Because all you need is for Atlanta to get by Milwaukee, which is possible in my opinion. Yep. I'm not even sure it's a long shot. If anything, it's to me, based on how those two teams are playing. Atlanta, not only did they win game one, but they played them way tougher than the Nets ever. Maybe game three when the Nets had Kyrie, but without Kyrie, the Nets never came close to that at Milwaukee. So this is a better team they're playing against because Atlanta has more weapons. And Trae does have some weapons out there. So
John Collins was huge in game one.
John Collins, they got to re-sign him. I'm sorry, you got to re-sign.
They do, him. That extension is gonna be woo.
You got Bogdanovich. He's not even healthy at all, and they're still doing this. Herter has become
my guy,
a player you can count on now. Especially moving forward to next season. This guy has played in big games. Red Mamba as Red Mamba as a producer said. We also I've heard Red Velvet.
Red Velvet.
I'm like, okay, whatever you want to call him, but he's been doing his thing, and he's a real player out there. They're missing DeAndre Hunter. You know what I'm saying?
Missing Cam Reddish.
Gallinari gives you some minutes. He'll give you some clutch shots if you need it. They got guys. I'm forgetting. Capella is doing his thing.
Oh, Capella was huge.
That layup he put in at the end, that was the play of the game.
Huge. And the rebounds. Capella had 20 rebounds last game?
Yeah.
He's underrated, man. Like, look, I always say about superstars, you're never gonna stop dudes like Giannis. And superstars don't get stopped. You have to make them inefficient. He gonna score his 30, cool. Score it on 30 shots, right? Just make them take up possessions that they normally wouldn't take up with missed shots, turnovers. That's how you slow them down and slow the offense down. Who do I think will win the European Football Championship? I already put my money down on Portugal, so that's who I think will win it. And Argentina will win Copa Americana if they're still in it, which I believe they are. So and Reddish, we know he warmed up before last game, got bumped up to questionable, didn't play in game one. I mean, it's going to be tough to bring him back and put him into a conference finals environment after having played for 4 months, but they get him off the bench. He can hit some shots. He gives him 5 minutes just to spell and give a little spacing. I mean, because again, all you got to do is give Trace a little space. So you add another spacer out there for a few minutes. Yeah. That's huge, man. That could be something big for them. I'm liking this Hawks team, and I think they got something going there. What do you think about this? I was talking to producer Greg about this to start the show. They're doing well, obviously. They're playing with house money, all good. And Greg said they're going to be, a team to reckon with for the future. And I said, yeah, it seems set up that way. However, they performed this year with no expectations. What about next year when everybody's like, all right, now we expect you to go to the finals next year? How is that, do you think, they're going to affect them?
Well, it'll change for them. But also remember, the NBA will probably be better because we had so many injuries this year. So they definitely benefit from the injuries. Like if Brooklyn is full strength, I don't think anybody in the East was messing with them. I mean, they did a great job against Philly. I give them a lot of credit. I give Trae Young a lot of credit. But Embiid wasn't 100%. Will he ever be 100%? We don't know. But he definitely wasn't 100% this past playoff. So they had some help in that category. But at the same time, these guys are getting older. I think Trae Young is for real. I mean, we actually penalized him. When you think about the media and all NBA, like I've talked about, Donovan Mitchell being snubbed as much as I can, until I lose my voice. I Trae Young was on my list, but I didn't even consider him a snub. But to me, when I look back on it, that was wrong of me because I really penalized him for playing a team game. You know, when he was scoring, 28 points a game and they were losing, he made the All-Star team, all that good stuff. We loved him. Then, Nate McMillan comes in there, his points drop off, but he's playing a better floor game, but it wasn't as sexy, so people didn't realize it. And it turns out he's just he made his teammates better and sacrificed his offense for the sake of winning games, which is what we always talk about we want. So really, he should have been an All-NBA candidate.
Who would you have taken off to put on Donovan and Trae?
Well, I don't know about I would have missed Trae.
Okay.
Until these playoffs, that really woke me up. But for Donovan, I actually would have had Donovan on the second team. Okay. As I've said over and over, I mean, to me, it's a historic snub because it's been at least 10 years or more since the leading scorer on an overall number one seed hasn't made an All-NBA team, and that's what they kind of did. That's what they did to Donovan here. I know he missed about 20 games, but so did a lot of guys who made.
Yeah, LeBron missed a ton of games.
Kawhi included. I mean, we put two Clippers. We put two Clippers on the team, and they were a 4 seed.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So you're telling me they really had that great of a regular season?
That's true.
These are regular season awards, mind you. Okay, so
you'd have bumped Paul George and put Donovan on instead.
Yeah, I would have bumped Paul George off the teams completely and had Donovan on the second team, and I probably would have pushed. I know people hate this because they love Chris Paul. You're one of them. I would have pushed Chris Paul down
to the third team.
To a third team.
That's right.
And I can even make an argument. Look what they've done with Adam, even these 2 games. I mean, that's a good team. And that's a very well coached team, great defensive team. They're going to figure out a way to get it done. Paul, of course, puts them over the top. You know what I'm saying? But Booker. Booker's another person who people snubbed. I would put Donovan ahead of Booker because of the regular season. This first in the West. So that's just the way I would have it.
No, it's so interesting. I mean, that's the thing about these awards, right? I mean, it's tough. It's subjective. It's only 15 slots. And they did that funky thing this year where it was like, you can put this guy at guard or forward. And it was like,
they didn't even utilize it, or else MB would have been a first team player.
That's true. And I'm like, I wasn't sure LeBron should have been on an All-NBA team. He did miss a lot of games.
That's not second team.
I mean, I
would have slid LeBron in their third team. The second team, come on, that's ridiculous.
I mean, but it's one of those things.
They were in a playing game. They missed all those games.
That's right. They were in a playing game. All right, man. Let's move on to keep it 100. You got $100 to spend. Obviously, there's only one game tonight, but you can spend it however you want. How you want to spend your $100, Murph?
All right, I'll keep it simple, man. I'm gonna put 50 on the Clippers. I'm gonna buy into the Ty Lue hype. That he's the best coach in this postseason so far.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, like I never heard this before about Ty Lue. All of a sudden, now the media narrative is that he's the best coach, one of the best coaches in the league. Hey, I'm all for it. I'm not a hater. Good. I'm glad he's getting this pub. I'm going to put my money behind that and hope that everybody's right. That he figures out a way to get it done in Game 3. So I'll put $50 on that, and then I'm going to put 50 tomorrow. This is tough. What am I going to do tomorrow? I'll say it's right now. I'm seeing 7. It's again 7.5 plus 7.5. I think the first game was +8. It was -8 for Milwaukee. I think the public is really they just don't know Atlanta well enough, and they know Giannis, and he's a 2-time MVP. Milwaukee is not that much better of a team than Atlanta is right now, and even though I think that they'll win Game 2, I think it's going to be another close game, and they're going to have to fight like hell to get this win, and it'll be about 3 or 4 points. So I'm still going to go Atlanta plus 7.5 to keep Game 2 close, and maybe even steal it. You never know.
Yeah, I like where your head's at on that. I'm going 25 on the Clippers money line tonight. On Clippers money line because it's a toss-up game, but that's I think our best option there. I'm gonna go a futures bet here, $50 on Trae Young to be the Finals MVP plus 900. I mean, that's too good. I mean, you look, guys, he's in the conference finals. That means he's got a 50-50 shot against the NBA finals, and if they go to the finals and they win, it's likely gonna be him. So That's a great bet right now. Jump on it now because if they go up 2-1 or if the series that number's going to drop way down. So jump on it early. And then I'm going to go 25 on the Hawks outright tomorrow as well. Look, I'm believing in the Trae Young hype.
W.
Yeah, I'm believing in the Trae Young hype, man. I'm jumping on it. I'm going. Actually, you know what? No, forget the outright. I'm gonna go with the points because I think they'll keep it close. Like 7.5 or 8. That's a lot of points. Way too many points. And look,
disrespectful.
The Bucks are capable, but they do this weird thing where they do something on offense that works for them so well, and they look like, oh man, they about to run off 30 points in a row. Then for whatever strange reason, they just start doing other shit, and I'm like, and it's not because the Hawks make them do other stuff. They just choose to do something else. They did it against the Nets. I'm like, why are you guys doing this?
Who's the most dangerous player in the series?
For the Hawks? Series. Oh, Trae Young. It's Trae Young.
Right. Because you can't count on Giannis at the end of games because you can't count on him for the free throws. No. Can't create his own shot to that extent.
Right.
I mean, Trae's the guy. He's the one you got to be scared of in that series.
And the Bucks wasted a Drew Holiday game. I mean, he had what, 30? I mean, that
they did.
I don't know you're going to count on Drew doing that again.
He's not.
Maybe he might, but
not tomorrow. He might get to 2 nights in a row. He might give it to you at some point. But that's and Middleton is funny like that too. I mean, these guys, like there's a reason.
There's levels.
There's levels to it. They're good, very good players, but there's a reason they're not. Both of those guys are not considered superstars because even Giannis, he has his flaws, but he's going to give you those numbers every game. Okay, he's giving you those ridiculous 30 and 10 numbers and whatever, some assists every game. Middleton every other game. Holiday every third game or fourth game. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference.
Yo, we got some time. I want to talk to you about something, Murph. I know you saw the GQ article written by Tyler Tynes where he interviewed Scottie Pippen. Scottie got a new rum coming out. And I want to talk about Ben Simmons. First of all, I wonder what the odds are on Ben getting traded. Probably ain't even get odds on that because they're like, that's definitely happening.
The smart bet is to take that he won't get traded because first of all, you probably have the odds in your favor.
That's true.
And also, his stock has plummeted so low. It's not really a smart move to trade him now. And, the kid at some point has got to work on his game. And at some point, coaches have to hold him accountable. And it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, that seems to be the situation in Philadelphia. He has not been held accountable. And I mean, his game has. Oh snap! Look who just comes out of nowhere.
We're making the late running wrestling style, baby.
All of a sudden, is that Brian Fonseca's music?
I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to be late. But taking care of some things. But we out here.
I feel you. What's good? But by the way, it's Brian Fonseca, folks. You can find him on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, writing a Deadspin. He's also the author of the now out book, Hidalgo Heights. Make sure y'all get over to Amazon and get that. Wait, you want to buy it on Amazon? Or you want to go to a local bookseller?
Amazon for now. All right. I don't got the money to be putting in like Barnes and Noble.
Well, I'm just saying, not everybody wants to give Jeff Bezos all their money. Shout out to the capitalist machine.
When we're like back to normal, I'll do some book signings and I could just, we could do it in person.
We're talking about Ben Simmons and odds on him being traded. And Murph said, look, man, the odds you're probably better off betting right now he won't get traded because his stock is so low. But I'm curious to you guys' thoughts on Scottie's comments about Ben in that GQ article. He was like, look, that dude is just, I'm paraphrasing, that dude is scared of being embarrassed on a free throw line, which is true. Like, he doesn't want to get humiliated. He's like, Giannis will get humiliated, but he don't care. He'll go back next time and try to dunk on you. And if you put Giannis's mindset into Ben, would Ben basically be Giannis?
Oh,
I agree with that.
A better version because he could pass better and play make better.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, you look at those guys, they're having the same kind of issues, but the difference is Giannis tries to shoot threes. I've been saying this about Ben Simmons. I would have forced him to take 2 threes a game. Really, I wouldn't even have done that to Giannis because he doesn't really need. He's already an offensive threat without the J. Ben is no offensive threat to score. Period. So he's the guy you really need to do that to. He's the guy you got to say, please just take 2 shots. I don't care if you miss. You don't hit one all season. You still have to take 2 a game so you get used to it. Okay. And Doc never did that. Doc embraced. I expected Doc to come in there but and I thought he'd have the gravitas as a coach to be able to get in Ben Simmons' face and have Ben Simmons respect him and get him to at least try to take some jumpers or whatever. And he did the opposite. He went in and embraced the fact that Ben didn't need to shoot, and Ben gives us enough not being a scoring threat. And then the series is over and you throw him under the bus. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Yo, Doc legit said in that post game, the question came in, Doc, do you think Ben is the championship point guard on a championship team? I don't know the answer to that question. I was like, damn, Doc, like you ain't got to sell him out like that. And that's the thing, man. The emotions are so raw after this. And I can only imagine Doc was probably livid at the kid, right? Livid, like, dog,
you helped create this.
You're right. You're right.
You told him it was okay the whole season.
You went into the media and said that.
You don't have to look at the rim. He gives us so much other stuff. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about scoring, Ben. We got that covered. And then at the end of the season, you're mad he wasn't scoring? Come on.
Hey, B, before I get your take on Ben, let's go back to top of the show. We got Clippers, Suns tonight. Clippers -1. Who do you like in that game? Suns -1, excuse me.
I want to like the Clippers, but Chris Paul is back. The
point guard is back.
Oh man, I really don't want to see the Suns just sweep them as much as I would like to see the Suns get into the finals. But
no, you want that because Chris needs as much rest as he can get before the finals. So yes,
more rest. Well, if we're team CP3, then yes, this is what we want. I'm also team I want to see good conference finals. You know what I mean? Like I was pissed that one year that the Hawks made it to the conference finals against the Cavs, I think it was at the time, because I knew that they were just going to get them out of there and they swept them. These Hawks are different. I will say that much.
Those Hawks, by the way, coached by one Mike Budenholzer, head coach of the now Milwaukee Bucks. Just for reference.
Right. So what I'll say is this: I would like to see the Clippers do it every time that. I mean, look, they're the only team in NBA history to come back from 2-0 twice in the same playoffs, but you're adding Chris Paul to the other team, and I'm just not sure that that's going to be the case. So I'm going to roll with the Suns here.
I like it. And we talked about the Hawks, man. That game one was, woo. I know in our chat, you were like, come on, guys, don't give Trae Young every call. But, yo, man, Trae is just that dude. He's that dude. Like, it takes guys a while before they become that dude. Nah, he's already that dude. And it's wild to me that a third year, Luka's also a third-year player, but, on the biggest stages, and he is not giving a fuck about he's going after it. So is it time to start believing in the Hawks? Are people it's not so much basketball fans, but casuals? Yo, man, this team's for real.
I mean, if you don't by now, then I don't know. And here's the thing, I have questions about the sustainability of it, right? Because there's going to be the East is coming back next year. The Heat and Celtics are going to be rested. The Nets are going to have some rest, and they're obviously going to have those three dudes, at least two of them healthy, maybe perhaps. This is the chance for the Hawks to strike now, and then whatever happens from there, they can obviously build on it. Whatever, it's just going to be tough from here on out. And this season, not an asterisk season, but a little bit wonky circumstances given all the injuries and things like that. And they're taking full advantage of it because really, the Bucks on paper should be running through the Eastern Conference right now, right? The Bucks, the Sixers should have beaten the Hawks, and they didn't. And the Bucks, I always say the weird shit happens in game one. So for me, I don't have a large big picture takeaway. I'm still gonna roll with the Bucks for now, but I'm not super confident in that because I'm honestly not confident in any of the teams left over. And even going into the playoffs, I was telling you guys, I'm not really confident in anybody right now because things are swinging in different directions, minute by minute. But the main thing that I like about the Hawks is that they're fun. Their star player, who I'm not yet saying superstar yet because I reserve that for only very few guys and I want to see it for, a longer period of time. He's played like a superstar in this playoff run, Trae Young. And when your star doesn't give a fuck, that's something I can gravitate to. Me and Gerard were a little more wait and see on Trae Young. Murph was on him from the jump. We were a little more wait and see. I feel like Gerard and I have come around because we've seen what we needed to see.
I'm already I am all
Right.
the Trae Young hype train now.
Right. And that's not to say you're right or wrong in the beginning, but I was just like wait and see because, I wanted to see how it sort of unfolded. Didn't look too great the first 2 years, didn't even look that great, minus the All-Star game appearance, obviously, but didn't even look that great earlier this year. And Nate McMillan comes in and it's like he helped unlock something and he deserves a lot of credit for that. So I think the Hawks could win the finals and it's time to start believing in them. Would I put my money on it? Maybe. I mean, they were plus 1,000.
Plus 750.
Plus 750, so it's dropped a little bit. It's dropping for a reason. Damn, so
should have got in it. Plus,
you gotta wait till they go down 2-1 to take
right. So we'll see what happens. But the Hawks are legit at least this year.
What Trae was so interesting, right? When I was like, all right, I don't, because what the big thing to me was, I was like, guys, he's so small. They're gonna abuse him on defense. Which, by the way, Milwaukee, look, I understand that like you have your offensive system, although I don't know what it is because you guys don't do it often. But team coaches do a thing where they seek and destroy. What is the weak point of this team? Let me hunt. Why aren't you hunting Trae on pick and roll mismatches? Why?
Right. And we asked the same question about the Knicks in that series too.
What are you doing? They're like, nah, we ain't doing that. Okay, cool. And the big thing for me for Trae coming out was, again, the size. I was like, man, he's going to get abused on defense. I don't know. And then everything happened when he got to Summer League. What did he do? He airballed his first shot. I was like, I don't know. This guy's. But as I said to Murph, this dude can read the game almost at a Chris Paul level in year 3, which is fucking frightening. Like, that is crazy how good he is. And, other than Luka's size, are we sure Luka's better than Trae Young?
We don't know. We will have to. But the thing is, we gotta wait.
I'm just saying.
It'll all play out. It might take a few years, but it's all gonna play out. We can't. We all want to judge these guys like the first, second year. You can't do that. You gotta
give them time.
It's a journey. You know what I'm saying? It's a marathon.
I do wonder what happens if you stick Luka, not necessarily on the Hawks, because I think you'll get similar results, if not better, most likely. But like, what happens if? Because I don't think Luka gives a fuck either. By the way, what I mean.
He definitely don't.
I think he's a better shooter, and he's definitely a better free throw shooter.
Yeah, and the thing, what I wonder with Luka is like if you stick him on the East with a similar team, not this exact same team, like what happens?
Because they advance.
Because I think around the Hawks they're better. And the Western Conference, I feel like, is generally tougher than the East. But, I mean, for me, I kind of like what we said previously on some level, like all those teams in the top 5, Phoenix, Atlanta, Memphis, and Dallas all got their guys, right? DeAndre Ayton's perfect for where Phoenix is. Trae Young. So Luka Doncic, etc. Jaren Jackson Jr. has some injury stuff, but he's like, if he remains healthy, he's going to be perfect to play alongside Ja Morant and whatever Memphis wants to construct around them. The only one is Sacramento, and Sacramento. So
your boy Marvin Bagley trying to get out of there. He's liking tweets saying he should leave Sacramento.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, it's going to take more than that. And by the way, like if I'm somebody else, like that's not even the dude I want to trade for most on their team, because I'm looking at Buddy Hield's contract, and which I was looking over today. I'm like, that's a descending 22, 20, 18 million, 3 for 60 for a guy who shoots 40% from 3 in this league. I mean, I'd probably take Buddy over Marvin Bagley right now.
Interesting. Let's do a little ranking real quick of the 4 teams remaining. Let's rank them in terms of who's most likely to win the NBA championship. Murph, you go first.
Wow. I would say, wow. I'll say Phoenix, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Clippers. I mean, that's the Kawhi thing, man.
Yeah, the Kawhi thing hurts them.
That goes into the category of the Nets, Philly, and the Lakers. Yeah. Like those big teams, they lost their
key pieces.
Very beyond key pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I said about the Nets, right? It's like you can't replace 2 All NBA guys with what? Like with what? Bench guys?
Enough to do one.
And people want to say, "Oh, I saw this the other day." Before he got on, I'm like, "This is so ridiculous that the the KD or the anti-KD arguments that
Listen.
you hear, like he was supposed to take, like Brooklyn was still the same team. He was supposed to take that Brooklyn team. Who was the second best player on that team? Blake Griffin? You know what I'm saying? and then those people will tell you, oh, Blake Griffin was whatever
six-time All-Star.
Yo, but here's the thing.
Years ago. Same dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
Here's the thing. Like
the thing with the Nets, though, they had 3 stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that do to your salary cap? So that every other guy is not, they're not the level of Drew Holiday or Middleton or anything like that.
Nowhere near that.
That's the danger of top-heavy teams.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, here's the thing also with the Kevin Durant thing. Like, I know that he quote unquote didn't get it done, as people are saying, whatever, right? If his foot was past the line, we're having a totally different conversation.
This is why I don't engage in this silly talk.
I think, Gerard, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I read somewhere, and I heard Dan Lebatard bring this up, that Kevin Durant plays in a size 18 but walks around in 17.
Correct.
So maybe if he's wearing a 17,
probably
like maybe his foot probably need to be smaller than that, but still.
The other thing I would say too is because remember he played all the minutes in Game 5 and all the minutes in Game 7. Kevin Durant, as with any top player, is one of the most aware people spatially as to where they are on the court. Man, I always say this: mental fatigue leads to physical mistakes, right? That dude was dog tired and fucking just forgot to pull his foot back behind the line, right? Like, honestly, if he's fresh, he's probably like, all right, cool, I know where I am. He was just like, man, I got to get this shot up. And we saw it in the overtime shot, right? He didn't even try to dribble. He just said, man, I'm going to just throw this thing up at the basket because I got nothing. Well, when you play 52 minutes, this is what happens. All right, Brian, you go. Rank the 4 teams in order of most likely to win the finals.
I'm going to go with Phoenix first.
For sure.
They're my number 1 right now, especially if Chris Paul just remains healthy. I love the playoff that DeAndre Ayton's had. I was looking through some numbers the other day, watching him. I just greatly admire his activity, and I think he's going to be a multi-time All-Star.
And real quick, you cannot exploit him the same way you can exploit other centers in space. Now, I ain't saying he's like a lockdown dude in space, but it ain't just that easy to blow by him when he
covers ground.
Space.
He's a real athlete.
Yeah, very good. He covers ground, and he has a pretty decent basketball IQ, I would say also. Yeah. So, and I think Chris Paul and Devin Booker and Monty Williams have helped sort of nurture this. So, that's a big 3 that I like. And he can shoot a little bit, as Greg points out. Mm-hmm. So Phoenix is first. And second, I'm going to go with, can I do like 2A, 2B, Milwaukee, Atlanta? I'll still go with Milwaukee for now. But I do wonder how we'll look at it if Atlanta wins, because traditionally it's like you want the big man. And Trae Young is not just small, but he's like very small and just punking these dudes. So he's not going to get 48 every night. But I mean, look, man, they could win. They don't need that to win. Like, they beat Philly when he had a 5 for 23 performance, and Ben Simmons actually guarded him pretty well that game. So I'm going to say 2A, 2B, Milwaukee, then Atlanta.
Clips are last.
Clips are last just only because of Kawhi. If Kawhi came back, which I don't know if that's possible. If Kawhi came back, then I mean, they might be down 3-0, so it might not matter anyway, actually.
I mean, if he were there, he never left, they'd be 1.
Yeah.
Because to me, Kawhi's the best player left, but he's not healthy right now. So
I'm with you guys. Suns 1, Hawks 2, Bucks 3, Clips 4, and it's the Kawhi injury. Again, as I talked about earlier, Brian, teams are looking. You exploit mismatches and weaknesses, right? Like, that is the area where you just attack over and over and over and over. And when the Clippers don't have a major chess piece in Kawhi on the board, that hurts them, right? It's like, okay, we run better offense if Luke Kennard's in the game, but we might get exposed on defense, which means I got to put Ivica Zubac in, which is fine because he can protect the rim and defensive rebound, but I got to play drop coverage because he can't guard, right? It crosses all these different things that Ty Lue has to game plan for around his own guys before he thinks about how we're attacking the other team, right? And that's the challenge in the playoffs. It's how can I mitigate how much I'm thinking about my own team's deficiencies versus how can I attack and kill the other team? And it's crazy, man. But I'm liking where we are in the NBA right now. Like, we're gonna have some new fresh blood win a title, and I think this is good for the league because look, we know we've been too LeBron and Steph centric for a long time. Like, and it's like everything else, right? Remember
I
when
don't
Jordan?
know about we, but I hear what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the league,
Not us, but
The league, yeah.
One of those guys has been in the final for how many straight years?
Like 10 or whatever it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like, and the league had that downturn, right? When Jordan retired after that three-peat, they were like, and it had a lull, right? There were good players, but it's not about us. Again, the casual was not into basketball like that from like 99 until about 05-ish, maybe.
Probably until the LeBron, Melo, Wade, and Bosh draft.
And that's, so they got to really take advantage right now. And I'm telling you, Trey makes the finals. Listen, NBA, just roll out all the stuff, man. Get your broadcast partners to do the right thing. And like Trey Young, man, make him the villain. It's perfect. It's all good. He'll happily wear the black hat. It is. You may see him and Kevin Herter in their MLK jerseys. Shouts to my guy Herter, though.
Herter's good, man.
Herter's a real one, man. He's another one, right? You can put him on the floor, and he can get his own shot. He can shoot, and he knows where he is on defense, and he's big enough. He's 6'7". That's what you need, as many of them dudes as you can get.
And that's what I'm saying. Like Schlenk and them look like geniuses now. You got you talk about next year. The East will be a lot better, but they're going to be better too because they're going to have DeAndre Hunter back. Cam Reddish, we'll get to see what he's doing. Herder will be better. Collins has to gain a lot of confidence from this playoff run if they keep him.
He's going to get a lot of money. That's a good question for you guys. What do you think the John Collins, because he's a restricted free agent, so does a team try to poison pill just to get Atlanta to drive the price up? And what do you think a reasonable offer for John Collins is for next year?
I think he might just get straight up maxed. Like
he might
just get straight up maxed at this point because you're talking about look at the production that he's put forth in his first 4 years. Like that type of dude, and to be honest, even in this NBA, a lesser type of dude usually gets maxed when they do that. So I think he might just get maxed, and I think the Hawks are going to want to keep that together for obvious reasons, and they should.
So too.
And he can get better.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like he can shoot.
Yeah.
He could probably get better from beyond the three, in the corner. He could get better. He has kind of a mid-range game. He's just now learning how to play down low, and then his athleticism is just stupid.
Yeah. I think you're right, Brian. The rookie max extension, I think, is on the table for him for sure, man. Just because, again, you don't get these kind of guys. They don't grow on trees, man. What is he, 24, 25? I mean, like.
He might be less than that. He might have been a one and done at Wake Forest.
Oh, shit. He might be 23. You're right. Damn. Yeah, nah, this team is too good. Like and again, Reddish comes back next year. I mean, they're all the timing and the
23.
The age with those guys are all in the same. This could look Atlanta. This could be, yes, the Heat are going to get better. Brooklyn will be back. But, as much as KD's my guy, and like those dudes are not getting younger.
Atlanta's staying in the mix.
Right?
Atlanta's staying in the mix.
Yeah. KD's going to be 32, 33. Harden's going to be like, they're all getting older, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they're still those dudes, but,
And we'll see what Boston does. We'll see what the Knicks do. You know what I mean? Because these are teams like are underneath. But at the same time, like they're not too far. They're like a good move or two away from like getting into that different stratosphere of the East. But this offseason is going to see a lot of like shaking around, so we'll see.
That's for Reddish. For Reddish, being available now to play. I think they got to try to stick him in somewhere game 2.
See what he's got.
It's not a must-win game anymore for them. Just find him some minutes. Find him 5 minutes. If he does well in that 5, stretch it to 10. Because with Bogdanovich hurt.
Yeah,
quarters, every other game type of guy. If Reddish can give him anything.
I guess see what you got. I have a Knicks rumor for you guys, and I'm not going to share publicly. When we end the live stream, I'll share it with you. About speaking of moves coming.
Let's end this so we can get to that.
I got a text from somebody in the know, and I was like, oh snap! I was like, anyway, look, a lot of things gonna have to happen for that to work, but whatever. Anyway. As always, folks, thank you so much for rocking with us every Wednesday right here on the Picks and Props Show on the Props Network. My guy, Brian Fonseca, Jamal Murphy. Listen, you guys know, if you want to like this show, hit subscribe down there at the bottom. Make sure you check out the Backpass broadcasting crew, which is what Brian and Dexter got going on. Ain't hard to tell. Murph was working on the Undefeated. PropsNetwork.com/NBA. And as always, guys, please bet responsibly. It's 21 and over to bet online. And if you or someone you know have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER today. Again, for my guys, Murph, Brian Fonseca, and Dexter Henry, who is out there in the ether. Until next time, I'm Gerard Hector.